Hello, Daha here from Timeslip Softworks. Welcome to the 39th development video for Vigilantes. This video covers the changes and additions made in Vigilantes version 19, which is now available from Humble. Currently it's only available through Humble direct to our website, which is timeslipsoftworks.com. It'll be coming to Steam in the near future, but we haven't set a strict date yet. And what you're seeing here is the new level which has been added in this update. It's a Church of the Final Exodus racket, which you'll eventually have to assault to win the game. It's the only racket we've actually it's the only one we've added in this update, but it does bring it up to the 35th map out of 45 which we committed to on Kickstarter, so we're doing pretty good on that front. Moving on to the other changes. This update's pretty different because there's no new large features. Instead we focus on tweaking and balancing existing features, and we've also committed more time to bug fixes. The changes we mentioned to the character system, which is, I think it was 2 videos ago, that now, you see, I'll load in very quickly load in a game to show you a little better. From now on say for example level 2 you will get a stat point, on level 3 you get 4 skill points, and on level 4 you get a perk point, and this cycle will basically that'll continue on like that for the rest of the game. We've also reduced the number of enemies. Previously there were up to 15 enemies, which was it was just way too many. Now it'll be rare to face more than 8. You could be facing 5 to 7 typically. There will be some larger encounters too, typically when you fight a boss, like a gang leader, or if you assault one of their facilities. That's going to be a bigger fight, but the standard fight isn't going to be this kind of this lengthy battle. We've also increased the perk potency, so if we just take one here, this was previously a 5% chance to not expend AP when making an unarmed attack, so that's doubled now. So since you're getting less perks, they're going to be more powerful, they're going to have more impact on the game. You can also allocate some of your ally skill points. Previously the allies just basically leveled up in a sort of a preset fashion. Elena Fury's primarily a firearms, she's primarily a ranged fighter, so most of her skill points went into firearms. Now you're going to be able to allocate 2 of those skill points every time they level up, and you also get the 4 on the second part of the 3 level cycle. You get 4 skill points then too, so you've quite a lot more control over how your allies develop. Overall, these changes, I think, have done quite a bit of playtesting. It seems to have improved the pacing quite considerably in the game, so we're pretty happy with that. Moving on to another area which we've spent a little time working on this time. Previously, dead or unconscious enemies didn't actually give you any intel, and this was a problem because there was no way for you to actually locate the gang leaders, the lieutenants, and then eventually the boss or the rackets if you couldn't get intel. So if you take out an enemy which has high enough up the ladder to provide you with that intel, even if they're dead, you can search the body now to potentially gain that intel. The chance isn't as good, and you don't have as many choices. For example, if you actually interrogate the character and you manage to kind of break them, you'll have a choice as to whether you want intel on rackets, lieutenants. Do you want to get more information on a lieutenant you know about, or do you want to find out about someone you've all these choices now, whereas if you do kill them, you may just find one piece of information on a random lieutenant or racket that's randomized. You don't have as much control if you kill them, but it is a bit easier. Also, destroying rackets will now provide you with intel. You get 1 piece of intel on either lieutenant or another racket. And the closest we come in this update to adding a new feature is we've improved the armour system. So armour now provides less protection as it becomes damage. It was kind of this way before, but the armour had to get really damaged before it started reducing the amount of protection. Now armour, the first hit, will basically start reducing the amount of protection. It works in a linear fashion, so like if your armour is at 80%, it'll give you 80% of the damage resistance that it's capable of. What this opens up, and and it wasn't very time consuming to do, was to allow damaging armour as a strategy. And we've chosen blunt weapons as the weapon class which will do enhanced damage to armour, and this may not be useful in all cases. If you're just fighting low-end Church of the Final Exodus characters, it's not going to really make any difference. They're not going to be wearing heavy armour. However, if you're fighting, say, a survivalist lieutenant, they're going to have some better armour. So if you have a kind of a character with a blunt weapon, you'll be able to bust up their armour a lot quicker. It remains to be seen how this will work yet. You know, it's new and we're going to need to tweak it, but effectively it opens up kind of a new layer of combat depth, and the possibility of making a sort of an armor destroying character. And there's also a perk which increases this effect further, and also the likes of critical attacks, they actually do more armor damage now. Moving on to sort of the game itself, the first 3 missions are now preset. So you'll meet Doc in mission 1, and that will open up the medical aid and the rest tabs. You will meet Kuda, the arms dealer, in the second mission, and that will open up the shop and the projects, and all of the rest, the facilities, the team screen, and the gang intel will all be opened up in the third after your third mission. For your third mission, you'll meet your first ally, because there were a couple of reasons for this. Part of it was because it's now actually harder to solo the game. So if you're just sending Sam out, you're going to fight a minimum of 2 characters no matter what, and they're going to be relatively tougher now than what they were. And also, it's kind of frustrating, you know, if you have to go around the map and try and, you know, it could take you a while before you find the first ally. So we've decided to just, you know, give you the first ally on the third mission. This will be a randomly selected ally. Leaders can now be found. So with the changes to interrogations, making it easier to actually detect a leader, you can also now fight them on the map. You will also be able to assault rackets now. That's also in place. We've also improved keyboard support. There was something like 8 keys before, which was kind of small, but as you can see now there's about 30 keys. So there's a pretty good selection of key bindings, and probably a couple more to go in there too. And let's see, yeah, we have, let's just check what the weather condition is. Yeah, I can just load up a mission and show you the weather system. So the weather system was in it before, but we took it out around the time of the alpha, and we're just sort of getting around to putting it back in now. And we've also kind of enhanced it a little. So as you can see, you've kind of got rain, we've got splashes on the ground as well. So there's multiple different intensities of rain, and there's also storms, so thunder and lightning too. So it kind of helps to make the map feel a little more dynamic with the rain. And we've also optimized, went through all the maps and performed some basic optimizations on them. Moving on to sort of general enhancements now. Targeted attacks now cost 1 additional AP. So I'm just going to end the turn here to show you. And I don't think you can actually do you can do a target attack. I didn't think you could with this weapon. So if you notice, 6 AP is a 3-shot burst. If you target, it'll cost 7 AP. And also armor damage, if you shoot at the torso, it does additional armor damage now too. That kind of links into the other thing. The penalties are now much more severe. I think you can, if you get a critical, I think you can reduce their AP by 4, and that's quite a lot. But you do have a lower chance to hit with it, and it costs you extra AP. It's the same for shaky hands, and the amount of damage that a headshot does as well. It's all increased. So basically, targeted attacks, you know, they cost more, but they also have a greater effect. Critical hits on targeted attacks result in more severe penalties too. So the penalties get even worse if you manage to land a critical hit. And the player facilities also, they will provide a greater benefits to your They'll provide greater benefits to your firearms, melee, explosives, and healing. Previously it was 5%, so it's gone up now to 8% per level, so you can get 40% increase on your damage if you level up the relevant facility. And there are like a lot of other small changes that we've made, and we've also spent more time fixing bugs too. Thanks to Ushas, Nomad, and Chabrik for testing out the game in this update. And there's a sort of shamefully long list of bugs which we've fixed in this update, but the stability appears to be better, and I think it will get better now since we're not going to spend as much time on features. And I think that's pretty much it for this update. We'll be getting started on version 20 probably later on this evening or tomorrow, and we'll keep you posted on that. But for now, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.